Well, welcome everybody to the Independent Investor Channel Live. It is 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'd like to welcome everybody to one of the first financial live streams that was rolled out through YouTube a couple years back anyway. This is a project that I've been doing for quite many years now. I enjoy the heck out of doing it. We roll this out pretty much on schedule every Friday to provide an awareness piece on wealth building initiatives for people, making sure that we're putting it up there on the priority list for people. And I do a pretty good job of motivating people. I leave no stone unturned with regard to how I deploy my program. And I think people can resonate with the message. Ask yourself, when was the last time you tuned into something or caught a piece of something through a radio show, or were told about something or brought to a specific opportunity? And at the end of the day, you just said, you know what, that doesn't work. or I tried this and it didn't work. Or I don't understand how the masses are supposed to get involved with a certain something that is supposed to get me to a better place, and it ends up working out. This is what we strive for. I come on and I offer a pretty impassioned message. I am initiating my calling every week to come on and offer you guys a live stream in a capacity that I don't have to. I don't do YouTube for a living. No way. This will always be an opportunity for me to come on and focus for 60 minutes on a craft that I'm deeply passionate about. And it's a craft and a discipline that I'm extremely passionate about. And I find all the time that people, for whatever reason, right, it may be their psyche, it may be their practical application, or a combination of both, as to why they can't get this whole program to click. They get it to run together, and maybe start to operate independently on just sitting back all the time and just worrying about it all the time, right? And I think that's what a lot of people try to default to, is our normal mechanisms of always really thinking hard about something, or hey, if I try really hard at something, this is gonna work, irrespective of how efficient our application is. And with investing, it's really, really interesting. You know, if you want to get your car fixed, you want to go to the doctor, there's proficiency that exists in that craft. Investing is, it's a weird, fickle gig, really is. And I think that there is an extreme amount of value in having somebody come on and share some of the fundamentals that actually work in wealth building. What does that mean for you? Quite simply, you can sit across from a message like mine, and you can start to relate with some of the methods that are deployed, yes, but more importantly, I think in your mind, you can start to overcome some of the barriers. And there may be people, certainly there are millionaires in my group that come on, and because they are a steward of the game, and because they are always ever evolving and appreciate how important it is to continue to evolve in a wealth building program, this message is, it's attractive to people like that. It's attractive to me. I just so happen to be the one that administers the conversation on the I2. That's totally fine. I enjoy doing it. You guys will get my undivided attention for 60 minutes straight. That I promise you. What I won't promise you is things that might have a catchy headline, okay? This is going to the moon. I can come on and drink a Coke and get real excited about certain things and give you a bunch of headline stuff that works to bring people in, but it doesn't work when you look to deploy and scale those going forward. For example, my options that I'm going to roll out to you guys tonight, if I just came on and said, hey, I'm teaching you how to get free money on YouTube, and I put YouTube videos out there, it would probably go big because people are looking for that easy road all the time. The fact of the matter is, I studied for 3 years to try to figure out the options game, to give myself a little bit more of a strategic edge, enough to where I felt comfortable to start to deploy make a few mistakes. Yes, I admit to those openly on social media, and good on me for doing that. Good on that person who can self-evaluate, not only self-evaluate, but come on and share it with an audience of usually over 1,000 people every single week. I digress. But if I were to come on and deliver a message to people and they come through my channel and they don't know who I am, you know, and they're like, Cletus, get in here, man. This guy on YouTube is telling us how to get free money. That's a little bit of a bait and switch. The reality is I'm killing it with the premiums on some put contracts. Did make a phenomenal swing trade this week with Wish. Absolutely. When it runs up 40, 50, 60, 80%, whatever the hell it does, I took that as a time not to join and make myself feel good on Wall Street bets. I very methodically went into my iPhone and sold the shares off, and I'm actually back in the position. AMC, baby. I just saw it rolling in there. Lots of different ways to make money in the stock market, and I don't mean to impugn the good research that went into those folks that try to get on the front side of a short squeeze. I think Hyliion's due for a short squeeze. I just don't think the stock is acting quite right. I think it's acting better now than what it did really in the deep parts of the low eights and the high eights. That was really a dark time for the stock. Really, I thought a time where Hyliion was most disconnected between the goings on at the company and the performance of the stock. And that happens. It absolutely happens. But we really want to try to cut to the chase here. And on 5 years of rolling out the Independent Investor Channel, it's been hundreds of times I've mentioned the opportunity made possible by passive investing. VTI doesn't stand for very terrible investment, okay? It stands for the Vanguard's total index. And anybody who has looked into, is enjoying, or has invested in this product over the last long while, if it's been over the course of years, you're up a fortune. Hey, no problem. A very simple thank you would be nice. You don't have to thank me. It's the money game. You're the one that put up the risk. That's all good. But this is real talk. And again, I think if you sat back and put some criteria over the content that you consume, the question that you have to ask yourself is this being put to in front of me for entertainment purposes, or does this actually work? And I think you'll find that a lot of things in this life actually don't work. They might be very sexy. They might be very attractive. They might bring you in on the onset. Hell, they might even entertain you. Okay. But when it comes to the granular application of actually working, i.e. in investing, I invest in said product, right? It either aligns or doesn't align because I wasn't taught this to make me money, or it loses me money is the ultimate bottom line for me. I've always said this gig is about money, really is. So what works? Okay. What are those elements of investing that actually can work for people? And they can work for people across the spectrum. Okay. You're out there and you're making $25,000 a year. I've been there. Okay. You're not going to come to me and say, well, Ryan, you don't know, you've never been there. I beg to differ. And that's something that you can sit across from me and dare to believe and allow yourself to dare to relate with what I bring to the table with my opportunity. Okay. I'm dead set on identifying from a relative perspective those things in the market, and they are vast, that do in fact work. Unfortunately, there's a lot in stock market investing that don't work, and they are in fact vast as well. So I'd like to welcome everybody to the channel. We got a great live stream planned tonight. Stick around, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. been doing this investing gig for a long, long time, and every now and then you get on a hot streak. I'm on one now. I'm not afraid to admit it. I come on and I admit it when I'm on a cold streak. It happens on both sides of the house. Anybody who comes on and tells you that they've got the stock market like their bitch is lying. It's that they're lying. Okay. Stock market can be a very, very humbling place. It can be a very, very rewarding place. As typical on the live streams, I'll roll out the portfolio goings on. It was a $15,000 appreciated week this week. So $15,000. I used to work a summer in Alaska for less than that, 20 hours a day, every single day. And now I don't regret those times. I only offer those for a relative perspective for people out there who might be that $25,000 earner per year and says, yeah, Ryan, that's all great and plenty, but you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know my struggles. Well, that may be true, but I would venture to guess that you may not even understand your own troubles, and you haven't taken the time to identify what it is that actually works for you, and more importantly, maybe what's not working for you, and even take it one step further and dare to change what it is that you're doing. I find a lot of people, man, they're so stuck in the rut, they have no idea they're inside the rut, because that rut is, in fact, their reality. And I don't mean to judge. I don't. It's just that one piece to my success and application in investing is my ability to change, flex, be dynamic, evolve, put things to work that may not work out, and also have the confidence to come on and re-engage, reapply, and refocus on a new strategy or application. It's always that forward thinking mentality that's going to get you to that end, right? So very, very important for you guys to understand the psychological element. The older I get, the more disconnected I get from my money, and the more money I have. I'll let you chew on that one for a second, because it's the God's honest truth. When I was in my 20s, it's what drove me. It's everything that I thought of. I got to get it, and I got to figure out how. And it was that drive and that blind naiveness that put me up in Alaska. Now, I don't regret anything like that, but I see some elements of hunger in our young youth, and I think it's great. I do, because that's the very fuel that you can take to say, you know what, I want to change my life, and I want to change it for the better. How is it that I can apply and do what it is that works? And the quicker you can identify how you can chunk up your time and focus that energy on what really, really works, the better off you'll be. But when I was in my 20s, man, that's what drove me into an avenue of, not making a whole lot, but when you don't come from money, you're willing to take on opportunity. And I tell you what, it's a lot of the pedigree and the cloth that I'm cut from now, is that work ethic has never gone anywhere. It's just I've become a lot better applicator with regard to my time, right? I focus on those things that really do work. VTI actually does stand for Vanguard's Total Market. It does not stand for very terrible investment. It's an incredible asset, and it can be that one solo product that you can hold in a tax protected account, like a self-directed Roth IRA account, and win with. So what I just said in the last 12 seconds really is the key for the masses of people out there. Now, one of two things are going to happen. You hear me out and you're like, okay, there's no way this guy just taught me how to invest in 12 seconds. He's full of crap. He's full of crap. Actually, he's not full of crap, because YouTube people are not full of crap. They're up there on a pedestal, man. They all know what they're talking about, and everything that they say is the gospel truth, right? But when you start to take that information and you're like, okay, man, this VTI has done pretty well since 2002. It represents the total market. I am diversified. I get a little dividend to boot. And what's Ryan talking about with the self-directed account? I've never heard of that before. I'm going to go research it. by God, that's pretty interesting too, man. Okay, this guy's got a little credibility. All right, you kind of fluffed a little bit on the 12 seconds. Actually, I timed it, Ryan, and it was like 14 seconds. But I'll give you proper credence on the rest of your application. It was pretty legit. So people who deploy that, you could deploy that at 20 and be like, you know what? Okay, I'm not going to do due diligence, but Ryan seems like a pretty legit dude. I'm just going to drop my money into VTI and fund it up over the rest of your life. Scout's honor, live long and prosper. That's probably one of the smartest things that you could possibly do. All right. Now, option 2, you start on this path down this line of, all right, Ryan's a pretty solid guy, seems pretty cool, seems like a pretty guy to actually have a cocktail with, which I am. I start on this and I enter into VTI, and VTI performs, and it makes a little money. It makes predictable money, okay? You're going to make your 8%. Sometimes you're going to be in the negative on a down market. Hell, we haven't had one of those for a long, long time. All right. I don't even know if this market has it in it to have a down entire year. It seems to hiccup for a week or two and people are losing their freaking marbles. But if it does have a down year, rest assured, those are the times that you want to be buying the market and dollar cost averaging into the market as it goes down. But for those that evolve in their risk tolerance over time and they look to really sharpen their strategy, they may look at that and say, you know what? Ryan was such a good guy that he got me into this VTI. I kind of like this investing gig. This is kind of cool. What a cool start, right? I've been doing this for 2 or 3 years. I've built up $5,000 or $10,000. This is pretty awesome. How do I layer up in my program, Ryan? I really want to become more of an astute investing person. Before I came to the I2, man, it was like one of those things to where I talked to my neighbor and he gave me the hot stock pick of the week, and I would just go lose my ass when I would try to deploy. I had no idea how to do it. I had no idea of what account to own it in, right? But I want to become a better investor in each of those 2 scenarios. I would consider them both a win because we're providing that awareness through social media to bring more people onto the investing opportunity and not look at it as investing. I don't know. Hell, call it a personal discipline, for crying out loud. I don't know. Sit for a second and think of something creative, not stock market investing, to dub yourself. I am a wealth builder. I am a disciplined saver, right? I think twice. I'm a savvy consumer. I don't know. Think of something catchy to dub yourself that's going to put yourself on a personal, independent, empowering program to where you can actually relate and resonate with this. Because if you can believe it or not, even though I do that funny stuff, right? People come to the channel and they're still just like, this guy is absolutely full of crap. And you know what's funny about that? I'm one of the very, very few people that come onto social media and say that I'm just as full of crap as the next guy or gal. Trust me. All right. I've said this all the time, man. I don't put anybody on a pedestal. I don't really care. Furthermore, I kind of despise those people who come onto social media and think what they have to say is complete gospel, and you need to sit with your legs crossed and your hands on your knees, just listening intently, and then waiting to go deploy everything that they possibly said. It's actually the complete opposite of what I charge you to do, and that is be a free thinker. Think on your own, man. Think on your own 2 feet. Be dynamic. Make mistakes. Hell, those are going to be the lessons that stick with you. All right. If you can find me a YouTuber out there, man, that has all the answers, please, you can invite them on my behalf on the channel to come, and they can learn me up and they can teach me on how to be perfect, because I just don't think it exists in nature. All right, guys. So welcome to the Independent Investor Channel. Hope everybody had a killer week. I did. It was a good one. It was really good. We're going to roll out the portfolios for you guys. Leave your comments in here, because when I'm done with this, I'm going to go over a few strategies that I've got on how we're going to meet our next goal within the next 5 years. It is going to be aggressive. I say that tongue in cheek because I actually have a weird premonition in the back of my head. Heffy, he's got a premonition. Come check this guy out on when we're going to reach that $1 million threshold. It is not a question of if, it is a question of when. And I've never been so certain on a financial threshold. I guess the irony in all that is a lot of people don't think they can save their first $1,000. I know for a fact I will get to that $1,000,000 mark. I just find that a very, very ironic oxymoron to share with people, in that the masses can't even see themselves saving up to that first $1,000 of invested capital, okay, let alone to get to that all elusive 10,000. So if you're in the group here and you don't have that $10,000 threshold, that is that first marker that I put in front of you as kind of a challenge coin a little bit to say, hey, look, man, you can do it. You don't think you can do it. Trust me, I've already went through this mental deliberation, and I've done it many, many times. All right. But I'm here to tell you that you can do it. And if you're going to get to that $1,000,000, like if I asked people, hey, would you like to have $1,000,000? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, of course I do. But they don't want to take the first physical step that's necessary in that direction. I just put a very lofty one right there in front of you. And getting to that first $10,000 goal is the only way that you're ever going to get to that million or $500,000 mark down the line. All right. Got to get to the 10 first, and you can do it. You can do it. You could probably do it in a lot shorter amount of time if you just deploy what it is that works. Okay, you don't even have to give any credit to the I2. All right, man, you want to trip and fall into the S&P or the VTI. Maybe you want to put a nice basket of dividend-paying stocks to work for yourself. Hell, if it works out, you don't even have to give credit. You can take all the credit. I'm giving it to you. If you're a credit type of person, you can give all that credit you want to yourself. You can be like, I'm an incredible investor, man. I did a hell of a lot of research, man. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it just enlightened me. All right. It's all me. It's all right. You know, sometimes being referred to this message is pretty magical. And that's really what it means, is if you trip and fall into the I2 for 60 minutes on a random Friday, that's what it could mean for you. It could absolutely mean that your life has changed. You take investing, you put it a little bit higher of a notch on the priority list, because one of the reasons I'm going to talk about on really crimping down on this sucker and driving toward that $1,000,000. And once I get there, there's something psychological about that. Me personally, I don't really care. I don't see what all the facade is. I really don't. I think people make multiple millions and they fall short of their potential. And I think that there's people who will never get to a million, who are phenomenal investors, and they overcome their potential, or they absolutely surpass their potential. I really want you guys to understand that. Being $1,000,000 investor does not mean you're a successful investor. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you. All right. But if your potential, with all of the tools and with all the aptitude and with all the employment and with all the income and with all of the application skills that you have, if you fall short of a $4.5 million potential and you end up with 1.5 million, yeah, society's going to dub you the most successful person out there. Not me. No way. I think there's a ton of people out there that get that holistically success is a lot more broad than that. And the whole idea is to bring people onto the message and have them start small. That's why I earmarked that 10,000 right there in front of your face, because you're like, you know what? I've never really thought about it that way. I've always just thought, man, it would certainly be nice to be a millionaire. I'm going to save for a while. And that's what people do. They'll save for a while. They'll get up to a couple $1,000. And then one of two things are going to happen. Either the car's going to break down and you need to, spend $750 to get it fixed, or even worse, we fall victim to that consumerism that we're all consumed by, or at least tempted by. And therefore it's like, well, we've got the money. Let's just go ahead and splurge a little bit. Let's go ahead and splurge. Honey, you want to go splurge with me? We just splurged last week, honey. Let's go splurge again. It really felt good, at least for a short amount of time. Let's look at some portfolios, man. I do have some fun with this gig. I really do. Tons of portfolio changes this week. A lot of add-ons. I will try to earmark those add-ons as we work through 110, 268, solidly in the six-figure mark on this. One of three. The larger accounts here, the stock and the cash allocation remains somewhat in line. But the two additions here, like I said, I swung trade wish on the melt up, and hey, whoop-de-doo, right? I'm going to take a $1,200 bill every single day of profit. I took the profit, then it fell the next day, and I entered back into the stock. I own 250, and I also bought some contracts that were being given away at a 750 strike. So I bought 4 puts, and I was paid a $500 premium for that, or at least I will when those roll off. I don't see Wish getting back down to 750. If it does, I'll pick up 400 more shares of it. But holy smokes, man, free money. Okay, like I said, this YouTube guy promises you free money. No, if you listen to what I said was, I will earn $500 premium, just like I will on the other $2,000 of premiums that I'm going to so elegantly share with you over YouTube. There's a difference. I know one is really, really sexy, and I know YouTube expects that of me to come on and be really, really sexy. I've got news for you and YouTube. I'm not really that sexy of a fella. All right. I don't. And I don't wear socks. All right. I do that to prove a point. Okay. You don't need to wear a suit and tie to talk about personal finance or even stock market investing. Can you believe it? It's so scary. You got to go sit down with somebody who dresses up all fancy and tells you how incredible it is. You know, want to know what the irony is of all that? You go sit down with that really, really nicely dressed person sitting behind the oak desk with the fake plant in the corner. Want to know what's going to happen? They're going to put you into a suite of mutual funds. Mark my word. You know what they're not going to tell you? They're not going to tell you, hey, here's a basket of exchange traded funds. Why? Because they're going to work really, really well for you, and they're really, really low cost. And if I recommend them to you, I don't get paid. Right? Those are all barriers we're breaking down to what you think you know about the stock market and what you should know about the stock market, all right? I tell you what you should know, not what you want to know on the Independent Investor channel. Mark my word, all right? That's exactly what I'm aiming for. I will not sell out to what YouTube wants me to say. No way. I won't do it. I run this project my way, and this will continue to run my way. I sleep well at night. I'm totally good. To be honest with you, the whole sellout element of YouTube, I don't enjoy that much anyway. All right. I'd like to save a little face. Cool stuff. So there it is. I did add the VPU, which is the utilities ETF. So very cool stuff. No other real changes. VTI is just killing it. It's not a very terrible investment. It's actually quite good. The triple Qs, I'm up enormous with the NASDAQ right now, just on that brief blip. I had some idiot on the 10-minute preview that I watch on CNBC today talking about how big tech is not a good investment with inflation on the rise. In a utilitarian society, I would believe that. In reality, I just don't think companies like Google and Facebook and Salesforce.com need to be denied. I don't. They were up enormous this week. CrowdStrike. I just had Leo Gantz on last weekend talking about Checkpoint software right in the cybersecurity space. CrowdStrike is along those lines. Customer relations software management. All right. Very, very important, man. The age of technology is here. It's absolutely been my favorite sector. I've made a fortune with it. If you want to take that page out of my playbook, there's another element of stuff that actually works. All right. Fantastic. Here's Roth IRA number 1. This was just a touch over 130. Had a big week. When Hyliion grumbles a little bit, it's like an awakening from a hibernation over the winter. It's like it flexes 30 cents, and it's like my portfolio goes whoop. It's like it wakes up. That's what happens when you have a big position in a company. Yep, there it is. So there's Hyliion. I did sell the warrants. Here's another page out of my playbook, and I could be completely dead wrong on this, and I can take scrutiny all day for this. I won't own warrants again, ever. I won't own warrants again, ever. Yeah. I saw the writing on the wall again, and it's really interesting. I think warrants should be illegal. I think they're put out there for people who are involved in the process, the inception of a company at the very, very beginning. And those said warrants are issued for their benefit and nobody else's. And the writing on the wall is very, very simple. The gap that exists between the warrant redemption price and the common shares, I'm talking about SoFi right now, will close the gap to where you can convert it all day. You're not going to make a dime on the warrants anyway. You probably stand more chance to just lose and not gain a dime in the transaction anyway. I did sell the warrants outright for a little bit of profit, but not too much. I saw SoFi just hanging on there and the warrants acting somewhat like an anchor to hold that stock price down. And if they're called, what'll happen is the common stock price right now that's trading at about $23 will adjust down, right? So you can convert the warrants all day for almost a wash sale. I won't invest in warrants again. Not going to happen. I can whip ass in 100 million different other ways in the stock market. I don't need to get cute with it. I'm killing it with options. I don't need to do that, and I probably won't ever do it again. All right. But there's SoFi there. Nothing too crazy in this portfolio. Nope. No real additions. This is chugging right along, doing well. And the Roth number 2 here. Some additions in here. I've got AFRM in here, which is a new addition to Shopify. AFRM, for you guys that like the exciting lifestyle in the stock market. This one's going to be a good one. This one just rolled out on my Shopify site. This allows customers to accept services and pay later. AFRM is the company that has just partnered this week with Shopify, ticker symbol AFRM. I'm already up 6% in the name. I'm very, very satisfied. ASAN, along the technology software, analytics within the workforce, within the workplace, actually, to identify efficiencies or gaps in efficiencies that can be improved upon. Ticker symbol ASAN. Doing well. Multiple billion-dollar companies. I believe ASN about a $5 billion company. AFRM is, which is a firm, is I think 8 billion, I believe, on the market cap. I'm pulling that from deep memory. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But those are the two additions here in the portfolio. The SoFi warrants are wrong. Those are liquidated out of here. But just some real highlights here. CrowdStrike on a tear. IBM, nobody talks about it, right? It's that very time when nobody talks about it, when it goes from 120 to where it is now, staring down 160. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Wow, Ryan, you're pretty cool. Hey, Heffy, you got to get in here and see this guy. He actually rolls out a bunch of stuff that actually works. And he says that nobody talks about it. I'm right. Nobody talks about it. They talk about how terrible of a stock it is for 5 years, and it was. It absolutely was. And when it's been left for dead on the side of the road, not breathing, not moving, broken arms, that's when it starts to get back up again and come back to life. And that's exactly what happened. Oil, Matt Money, my boy, is probably in the gallery. Hopefully he is. He can back me up on this. Yeah. Oil companies on a tear. Nobody talks about it. I'm making a fortune. I'm printing, as he would say. Is that what you want me to do? YouTube? I'm printing. I own that meme stock, ExxonMobil and Chevron and Royal Dutch Shell. They're meme stocks. I don't know what that means, but they're kicking ass nonetheless, making me a fortune. Yep. Lots of different ways to win in this market. The addition here back was VYM, I actually took some opportunity cost off the table with VYM. I was up really nicely in the position, had owned it, leveraged it into some of the other positions that you see here. Now I've introduced back just a small position, 25 shares in VYM and VNQ, which is the real estate REIT from Vanguard, back into the Roth here to embolden that real estate sector. Along with Realty Income and VNQ, those are the only REITs that I have in the portfolio right now. Salesforce.com on a tear. CrowdStrike on a tear. Yeah, we whip some ass on multiple fronts, and I don't mean to be braggadocious. I just am fair to say when something doesn't work, and there is two sides to every coin, and when something does work, I'm going to come on and I'm going to say it. Because quite honestly, if my thing was just coming on and telling people to listen to me because everything I do works, I wouldn't do this project. I wouldn't. Okay. Because there's a good handful of stuff that I deploy that does not work. And I will go one further and say that there will be a lot of stuff that you deploy that won't work. Persevere. Get over yourself. Okay. Your expectations of yourself to be perfect are way too harsh. All right. You got to have a short memory in stock market investing. Don't dwell on the past. Just keep your eyes on the future. But there we are with Roth too. Very, very proud of this project. For you guys that don't know, the OGN in there, I've emboldened that up to 100 shares. I like what I see. That was the spinoff of Merck, from Merck, excuse me, not of Merck. A spinoff from Merck into OGN. Okay. And the M1 here, this is the specialty portfolio. This was up marginally week over week. This is just chugging along. This is like turtle investing. This is like investing that anybody can do. I am up week over week. So therefore, if my bottom line criteria is such that the bottom line is money and I'm actually up rather than down, would you consider that to be something that works? I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys. Whatever. We're just going to keep on beating this drum until I get to 1 million. Maybe I'll gain some credibility then. Maybe I have some now. I don't really know. That's not for me to judge. That's for you to judge. 71 holdings here. We're down a little touch. I was surprised on this one. We actually went positive on another one of our stocks that we were down on. So we have 61 holdings in here that are in the green and 10 that are currently down a little bit. Some names that aren't surprising to me at all. Some that are. Abbott Laboratories is one of them. Some others that come to my mind. TJ Maxx, I bought a little high, so that's down a touch. No big deal. It'll be fine long term. Some other stuff that is not surprising to me that it's down just a touch. But week over week, this was the only bucket that I have that was down just a touch, and that the TSP here is just chugging right along nicely. Very nice. Healthy over that threshold of 50,000. That's a big one. 50,000 is a big threshold, right? So if you think, oh, Ryan, I can get to that 10,000. Great. Your next threshold's 25. See, I keep up in the game on you. And you're like, Ryan, you suck, man. You're kind of a jerk. No, I'm not. I'll challenge you. Like, I'll challenge you to do all kinds of cool stuff. You should see my kids when I'm out there on the soccer field, man. Yeah, they're going to remember me. Yes. Don't worry about it. All right. You'll be fine. It's all right to get a fire lit under your ass every now and then. It's fine. I have one there for me all the time. Get with the program. All right. Operate with a little bit of sense of urgency. Life is limited. You do only have one chance at this, but make sure that you're using that excuse for the right reasons. Yep. All right. Good stuff. And here's some of the new products that we put in place. I'll just go down the list, man. We're due to collect. I've got premiums rolling off the 18th. I've got premiums rolling off the end of this month, the 24th. Premiums into July. So we've got some really big contracts rolling off. I have no doubt that those are going to roll off and expire worthless. So the premiums will pay out on those. I'm keeping the long calls on Hyliion. I wrote those when it was at 8. Those are worth a freaking fortune right now. So I've got 13 contracts, and a lot of people are like, hey, what about Hyliion? What about it? I don't know. It traded up 30 cents. I don't know. It is what it is long term. That position's set. I don't sit there and manifest over it. I don't sit there and stare at it and wish it to the moon. I don't even know what that means. I really don't. I'll put whatever time necessary into that holding to make it a good one. Mark my word. But what can I do now? I'm super bullish on the company. And when I feel like I've got a company pretty much honed in on the bottom, I'm going to capitalize on that. And I'm raking in premium, like seriously, like a garden rake. I'm raking it. I'm raking it in. It's just raking it in. They roll out, they rake it in, rake it in. Yep. Free money, expired premiums issued on a contract that's rolled off. I typically write those for about 30 days anyway. Okay. Very cool. This will be a soft rollout for you guys that catch the live stream. I always provide as much nugget as I can. This is the F'cK account. It's already started. It's in the process of being funded. I will fund that with 2,500. Again, this is a soft rollout. You guys are welcome to go check that out. The independent investor channel will be affiliated with F'cK as long as everything checks out. My checks and balances are very, very simple. I have to have an account with them, okay? And this F'cK is not going to be for everybody. M1 Finance could be, all right? F'cK, the timing was right for me to dabble. This is about less than 0.5% of the portfolio to start, so almost insignificant, to be honest with you. But this is going to take me from a non-cryptocurrency owner to a cryptocurrency owner in the capacity that I want to own cryptocurrencies, and that is in a Roth IRA. Okay, so we'll chronicle that. That'll be a new addition to the rollouts every week. I love chronicling that for you guys. It's a lot of fun. But there's the number. We got $5.28 in the portfolio, so we've got a long way to go for that threshold, but we will get there. We really will. It's all about believing, guys. It's all about believing. Numbers are relative, okay? Remember how I talked about the relativity exercise about some people who make $1 million I will not dub successful, and other people that really, really work hard and they understand the value of what it is worth valuing in life. That's where I put that dub of real success, you know, and that you might say, well, I'm kind of interested to know what you think of yourself, Ryan. Like, do you consider yourself a success? Absolutely. And here's why. It's the degree of, if you gave 100 Ryans the same cards that I was dealt, how many people would take their many opportunities to take exit stage left? The very fact that I didn't speaks to the level of success, and that is the piece of how proud I am of how I persevere past barriers. It's something that maybe it's going to take that for you guys. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be a gravy train to the moon for you. I don't know. I wish nothing but success on everybody out there. But I'm telling you, for some, it's going to be a lot more difficult. For others, it's going to be very, very simple. You want to know what the only thing that matters is? Your degree of success. It's the only thing that matters. Your degree of success, insofar as your ability to capture that success as quickly as you can in life, so as to avoid potential for regret later on in life. All right. So there it is, $5.28 on the portfolio. We're doing quite well. I'm going to jump in. I've neglected the group like a crazy man. Bob says crypto. I understand. I know it breaks all traditional rules of investing, but I don't think that's what it requires. I don't think that you can apply the rules of investing to justify the utility behind crypto. I think some of the rationale, I think Kyle does a really good job of throwing out a rationale that actually really works for me. And then he says, that may not make sense. What do you think? And I think he kind of explains it in a way that actually does add utility to cryptocurrency, at least the top tier. Now, with F'cK, There's only 10 that you can buy. You can't go through and just buy any cryptocurrency that you want. They only have the top 10 that you can buy: Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Bitcoin. For all you Snoop Doggy Dog coin, that's on there as well. Some other stuff. I don't think Ripple. I can't remember, but I'm not going to be investing in those anyway. Make no mistake, I'm funding this to go for my number one conviction, and that is the platform by which they're all built in Ethereum. And then to grab a few Satoshis. Call it for what it is. I won't be buying Bitcoin. I will be a small player in the game, buying some Satoshis and look to gain some share that way. It could go to zero. That's why I say it's not really for everybody. It's not for the faint of heart, but that's the plan going forward. Okay, very cool. I got Brent, my brother from another mother, man. Shout out to you, man. It's been a long time for us. 5 years, man. We've been friends through YouTube. It's great to see you, Brent. Really great. It's very cool. If you guys go over and check out Brent Metters Investing, please. You can subscribe to his channel as well. He's super cool guy. And he's been one of those very few folks that have kind of been with my platform for a long time. And loyalty, funny, goes a long way with me. Yeah, sure does. It's great to see us. Crypto is speculative. It's beyond speculative. I think that's a freaking understatement. But so started to buy a little amount of 5 to 10s a key. Yeah, so that's interesting. I'm not really buying it. I would like to buy it for its utility of use and understanding how to transact with it. Unfortunately, buying it in a Roth IRA makes you an investment in cryptocurrency. And I think that could be considered a drawback. I don't know. I'm scratching the surface on the topic, and it could be somewhat of a drawback. But I say, you know what? Look, I'm not getting into it. Now, I can trade within the Roth. That is attractive to me, right? So I can take Roth protected profits within that, look to churn that 2,500 up to something reasonable, maybe take some house profit like I always do. Remove that house profit, boom, transfer it back to the other Roth. And there I've got rollover money created by cryptocurrency profits, right? So there is a method to my, wait a second. Did Ryan just roll out something else that could potentially work? It could potentially work. And to tell you what, when it does work, I'll roll it out and I'll share that with you too. How many nuggets have I dropped in this live stream? 1, 2, 6, about 8 so far. Not too shabby for 60 minutes. We got 13 minutes left. All right, very cool. This is starting doing more vids recently. I notice I monitor the landscape, but to be quite honest with you, man, I don't spend a lot of time on social media outside the time that I devote to my subscriber base. It's summertime. I spend a lot of time by the swimming pool. I spend a lot less time making YouTube videos, and good on me. If you want to get the totality of the independent investor opportunity, you'll seek out my Viper group. It's close to pennies per month. You'll seek out my podcast, right? You'll seek out some of my newer projects and get on a subscriber list for my new blog that I'm going to be rolling out. My wife's helping with me with some of that ad campaign stuff. You guys got a taste of it if you follow me on Instagram. You know what I mean, okay? But I'm not going to sit here and continue to do daily uploads on YouTube when I don't think that's where the future of YouTube is going. Call me crazy, and I that's not me anyway. I'm going to do what I want to do and no more. It's just that simple. All right. Adashanda Thomas in the house. Very cool, very cool. Very cool. It's great to see you. Good evening to you. Let me cruise up to the top here and give my proper shout outs. I got about 12 minutes left. This was actually an interesting live stream for me. I was kind of wondering what it is that I was going to say tonight, and it'd be interesting to watch the replay. I think I dropped some nuggets in this one purposely, not accidentally, purposely. If I thought that there was the right stones to kick over for your success, trust me, I would kick them over for you. Okay. That is what I strive for every Friday. All right. Chris says, good evening. Appreciate it. And Eric, my brother, and the family. Very cool. Very cool. It's great to see you, my friend. Fantastic. And Bob, my friend holding it down on the West Coast. Very cool. And Rebecca says she thinks maybe she could catch the whole live stream. You're always here in spirit. If you're not here physically, it's all good. You're out there working. You're working for an honest Friday living. That's fantastic. But thank you. And Phenom always comes on. Fantastic, man. I really appreciate you. You give a little spiritual boost to the I2. Absolutely. I said it at the top of the live stream. We're delivering what I feel is my calling, and I love doing it. This is not work. The element of the I2 that I roll out that I really, really like when I'm sitting across from people on a private coaching session, that right there is the element. And it's only made possible by my putting myself out there and letting people know what I bring to the table. Nuggets, not chicken nuggets, but like nuggets of stuff that works. I don't know. Does this stuff work? I don't know. It works for me. I don't know. It's not a very terrible investment, man. I'm telling you. Gotta believe, baby. Gotta believe. I've seen how some of these results they're rolled out and they work really, really well. And it surprises even me. And it surprises even Becky. And she's like, this is cool. Kind of cool sometimes when I sit back and I see how the investing game is deployed through different profiles. And I mean that when different profiles and personalities put an investing strategy to work and it surpasses expectations. There is a potential for that. Okay. Stock market investing, very, very powerful, not to be understated. And I wouldn't come and do a YouTube opportunity if I didn't think that the opportunity wasn't exciting. It is. It's no joke. It's insane. I feel like for years and years and years, even decades, the retail investor were held from a lot of secrets, a lot of the barriers, right? That I whack-a-mole, right? I'm whacking the mole, right? Because you got the institutions always pressing, man. Retail investors, you're too stupid to make it. Ryan, even you're too stupid. That $500,000, that $5.28 you got in your portfolio, man, that's not real. You're not really doing that. It's all in your head, brother. It's not in your head. It's not real. Stop teaching people this. Stop telling them that they can become empowered and do it on their own. I ain't going anywhere. No way. Message is too powerful. There's too many people out there in rogues that need this information. All right. AMC, I'm bullish. Absolutely. I own a dab of it. Apologies if not already discussed. Nah, man. That's great, John. Thank you. For AMC. AMC. I thought you meant AMD. I thought AMD is a killer investment. AMC. It's funny. Invest in what you know. I walk into AMC stores and GameStop, and or is that the theater, AMC? I just find this funny because I don't cover any of these stops, right? So GameStop and AMC, I put them all in the same category, and I watch them all go up, and I don't understand why. That's the disconnect between stock market investing and do I think it's a good investment? I don't know. I don't cover the stock in that regard. And like I said, there's many other capacities that I can make money on. This might be somewhat of a habitual thing that a lot of people make money and then they're going to get skinned one of these times and they're going to figure out that it's kind of a game. I don't know. I'd have to look at the fundamentals of AMC and really look at the financials to see what they're doing that justifies such a heavy run up in the stock. I know there's been some moves from management that they kind of took advantage of the run up. I know GameStop did the same thing. So it's intriguing enough, but I'm one of the stock market applicators. I've been doing this a long time. I was just reminiscing today about some of the opportunities that have come and gone that for whatever reason, I didn't jump on. There's going to be things that come and go in the investing arena. You're going to win and you're going to lose on some that you actually do decide to take positions on. AMC is just one of those things that I've just decided to pass on. And to be quite honest with you, John, I've never been tempted to own any of these stocks. I've never owned GameStop. I've never owned AMC. I'm not tempted at all. There's just too many other good stocks out there and companies that I do want to, but hopefully I helped you a little bit, but I defer on that one. I just don't cover it. All right. Antanas is in the house. Fantastic. Great to see you. See you. See you. Fantastic. Larry Mass is in the house. Fantastic. Been with me for eons and eons. Absolutely. And Pumpy Dumpy says AMC. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of what's going on out there in the YouTube and social media landscape. And I would put this in the very category of what I was trying to deliver in my message tonight, to fight. All right. Remember, I'm interested in things that work. Just because you make a good investment, just like the millionaire who becomes a millionaire and automatically thinks they're a good investor, just because you invest in AMC and it works out and you make money, doesn't make it a phenomenal investment. It just means that you made money. And I would dub that a successful investment. It doesn't make it a good one. Okay. You just separate those two in your mind, man, because again, is it scalable? Are you going to be able to find AMCs the rest of your life to make, killer profits on? What did you do with the money? A lot of people are going to make tons of money, hundreds and hundreds of percent, and then they're going to go blow it on, I don't know. Well, I could say some funny stuff, but it's true. It's, what do you do? Were you prepared to accept the wealth? Did you leverage it up? Right. So all good stuff to think about for sure. And we'll cruise down. I'm going to cruise. There's my buddy there. Fantastic. Great to see you. Says, good evening, folks. Those guys are coming on in less than 5 minutes. They will share the link. They typically do in the bottom of the discussion. That way you guys can switch over and keep the discussion going. I'm usually the diesel engine starter that gets the discussion going. Tonight was a really cool. K Paso says, what's up? He's pissed off because I won't answer the AMC question. No, I won't. It's just different strokes for different folks. That's all. You could probably find all kinds of different forums online that'll tell you what you want to hear. Again, I don't do that. Very cool. Good evening, fellow investors. Hope all is well in your castle. Salute to the host. I am the host. Fantastic. Thank you. I'm glad to do this project. A lot of fun for me. Got a Viper in the house. Jamie, thank you for keeping the fire lit inside the WhatsApp group. Very, very cool. Very cool. Very important zooming out. Sometimes our own biases doesn't let us consider zooming out to get the big picture. That's the truth. Absolutely. Yep. Extreme ownership. Just because you think it's stuck now doesn't mean you. Okay. Yep. Absolutely. A lot of people don't think they're stuck. You know what I mean? That's part of the problem. Jermaine, VGT. Yep. It's a good one. I own it. I own it myself. It's a good one. Just another way to succeed. I think I'm up a fortune in it. That's nugget 9. We're almost up to a 10-piece nugget here. This is awesome. Couple minutes left here. Cruising down to the bottom. I usually get some really, really good questions toward the bottom, and I review them, and I'm like, dang, how could I not have got to that? Wonder how hard it would be to become a financial advisor. It's easy. They're salesmen. I just don't have a lot of latitude, man. I think we're a lot of people who are doing really, really incredible things, especially like firefighters and doctors and like surgeons and people who are actually doing like technical work, PEs, professional engineers, those people who are doing technical work. And then you've got people on YouTube who can garner a few 100,000 people and they think they're like somehow God or the next thing to God. They're not. That's the truth of it. Okay. All right. I believe in a world of absolutes. All right. Read some Aristotle. You'll understand what I'm talking about. All right. It's there. There is truth in the world. Okay. And the truth does not reside on YouTube. I love when I drop those. That was nugget 10. Very cool. Wish has a lockout expiring. Fantastic. I hope the stock goes up. That'd be nice. We'll take it up on a second ride. That'd be fun. We took 1,300, 1,200 of white meat off of that trade. That was nice. Hyliion stock is up. It is. It's up from $8. It's up 40%, 45% month over month. Like I said, at 8, it was about as severely disconnected from what the company's goings on are having. They're building a massive complex. They're 3xing on capability. They don't just do that to put on a dress. Okay. If I'm going to put on a neon condom, guess what? You get where I'm going with that. All right. That was Nugget 11. Yeah, we're getting to the end of the stream here, guys. Fantastic. I'll try to wrap it up a little bit. I couldn't get quite to everything, but there was a pretty good message that I want to get through. I do think we foot stomped it this week. Absolutely appreciate you guys, man. Keeping it going through the summer. I know YouTube takes a little bit of a scale back on activity. That's totally fine. We're going to keep on keeping the drum beating on this topic, man. It's super important. I never know who's going to make their way into the message, but I will keep on keeping the message fresh, keeping it dynamic, keeping it on the front of the wave where it belongs for any of those investors out there who find their way to my message and they can resonate with empowering one investor at a time. Guys, take it easy. Have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll catch you next week.